Okay. So, Monica, should we get started then? Okay.
Yes, sure.
All right. So, welcome everyone to this Sunday webinar organized by UC-EASY, UCEAZY. And let me share my screen. Our topic for today is things to do this summer, and the focus is going to be on 10th and 11th graders. Before we get started and I introduce myself and our expert for today, Dr. Monica Randall, I just wanted to play a quick video and give you a quick introduction about UC-EASY so that you know who we are. And because you're going to be spending the next hour with us, it's like, who are these guys? Can I trust them? So let me stop share and play a video. All right, let's see. Hang on. Should come up now. Okay.
Meet two high school students, Raj and Kyle. Kyle goes to private school, where college admissions experts spend large amounts of time to help students get into their dream college. His parents went to Yale, which means they can guide him in what he needs to do in high school to get into a top-notch university. With an upper hand both at home and at school, Kyle will be admitted to one of the most prestigious universities in the world. Meanwhile, Raj, like most children from immigrant families, goes to public school. The student-to-college counselor ratio at his school is 2,000 to 1. Without a college admissions expert to allocate enough time to make his application stand out, Raj can very easily become 1 in a million. For Raj's parents, who didn't go to an American university or four-year college, the system can be very confusing. To beat the odds, Raj will need help that he can't get from school or at home. That's where UC-EASY comes in. We can help level the playing field for students from first-generation immigrant families. UC-EASY, University and College Admissions, made easy.
All right, so with that video, I am going to go back to my PowerPoint, introduce myself, spend a few minutes on talking about UC-EASY, and then we will bring our expert, Dr. Monica Randall. Just a few housekeeping things. This is a webinar, as obviously everyone knows. You can see us, you can hear us, me and my expert, Dr. Monica Randall, but we cannot see you or hear you. So your privacy is fully protected. So don't worry about that. This webinar will be recorded and the recording would be sent out to you over the next few days. Lastly, we do hope that you ask plenty of questions from Dr. Randall and another expert, Karen Rowe, that will join us in about 30 minutes. The best way to ask this question, because you will need to type in your questions, the best way to do that would be to click on the big Q on your control panel and type in there. Please don't type it in the chat window. And for students here, there's an option called raise your hands. It's kind of adorable because it feels like a classroom. Sorry, we cannot respond to that. So again, the only way for you to ask your questions is through Q&A. All right, let me go back to my slide deck. So UC-EASY. The company, the name stands for University and College Admissions Made Easy, UC-EASY. And this is a company that I co-founded about 5 years back. My name is Vinnie Gupta, and I am CEO and co-founder of UC-EASY. And the mission of UC-EASY is to simplify college admissions for students whose parents were born outside the United States or were not educated here. That is the primary mission of the company. Why? Because that is the life journey of me and my co-founder, VK. Now, it is possible that some of you in our audience may not relate to this experience. You are still very, very welcome to sit through this webinar and come to us to enroll for our services. But in terms of why the company was started, this is what our mission is, but we welcome everyone. So Towards the end of this webinar, I'll talk a little bit more about how we can specifically help you. But essentially, UC Easy is an online academy, an online school that supports families and students for college admissions. We have 3 groups or 3 sub-academies. The first is for grade 8 till 10, where we work with the student to make them what we call multidimensional, or what colleges would call unique from a college admissions perspective. So that's our 8 to 10 academy. In the 11th to 12th academy, and the leader of that academy, Karen Rowe, would join us a little later, we help the student through the actual college application process. Then we have a transfers academy where we help students transfer from community colleges to 4-year colleges, or transfer from a 4-year college to another 4-year college. We are currently supporting about 600 students on a national level. We are physically based in Silicon Valley, but we support students all over the country, and we have experts like Dr. Monica Randall today, who's physically based close to Washington, D.C. We have 50 such experts on our team. On the screen, you would see a few pictures of our team. On our team, we have college admission experts like Dr. Randall, but we also have experts in lots of other areas that we think are needed to make students competitive for college admissions. So we have experts that specialize in extracurricular activities and summer activities. We have experts that specialize in helping you explore careers. We have experts in developing writing skills for essays, because that is so critical in college admissions. We have experts that teach you study skills. So all of those things come together in our academy in a model where the average experience is 15 years. Our counselors have a master's degree at the minimum from United States. And for those of you in California, it might be important for you to learn that 25% of our college admission experts, also called counselors, they are external consultants or external readers for the University of California. Again, we support all colleges in the US, not just California. Couple of quick testimonials, and then we will jump into our topic today. UC Easy, as the name says, is a very easy and professional company to work with. For first-time immigrant parents, the structure that UC Easy offers is very informative. So with that, I'm going to invite Dr. Monica Randall, our expert, to talk about 7 things that she recommends that 10th and 11th graders can do this summer. Monica, I'm going to stop sharing. If you could please start sharing your screen.
Sure.
And I will briefly give a little bit more of an introduction for you.
So I'm going to share my screen now. And hello, everyone. Thank you, Vinnie, for that introduction. My name is Dr. Monica Randall, and I am going to go through and talk to you about 7 things to do this summer. Vinnie, was there some other things that you would
if you
like
go
to
to the next slide,
Sure.
Your intro slide, I just want to let the audience know how privileged we are to have Dr. Monica Randall find the time to talk to us. And as you can see on the screen, she has just a lot of experience in college admissions and higher education. Among other things, she was a vice president of admissions and financial aid at a university. Her PhD thesis actually was in financial aid, and she's been working with UC Easy pretty much since we started. So she holds a very, very special place in the history of UC Easy. So with that, Monica, welcome. Please take us from here.
Yes, thank you very much. And I'm so happy to be here today to talk to you about some of the things that I think teens should do this summer as they prepare for their college applications. As Vinnie said, I have a long background, a long history in higher education. When I was the vice president for enrollment management, I used to keep a box of tissues on my desk, because I always had parents and students coming into my office. They, at times, were a little confused about the admissions process or financial aid. And I always wondered, how could I help them make this process more easy? So I'm really happy to be part of UC Easy to help students and their families really go through this process and to make it much more easier for them. Today's agenda, I'm going to talk about 7 things that I believe students, particularly sophomores and juniors, can do not only this summer, but some things that you can do starting now this spring to help make your college applications stand out. So with that, let's start. The first thing is, and I believe it's really important, and that is to visit colleges. Now, given the current state of things, visiting colleges I'm going to talk to you from a little bit of a different perspective this time. I firmly believe that, of course, visiting colleges, if you can do so physically, that's great. I just say that you check with those colleges and universities, because so many of them have shut down for spring break and are shutting down for a period of time. So check with them first to see if they are in fact taking doing any visitations, any admissions programs. When you're visiting colleges, and as you visit this summer and say into the fall, think about visiting colleges that are in your backyard. I call them backyard tours. And that means, you don't necessarily have to travel across the country to visit a college, but if you're especially trying to get a feel for a school, especially if you're a sophomore or a junior, what I would recommend is look at colleges that are like an hour or 2 away from where you live. That's always a good way to kind of get a feel for the kind of colleges that you may or may not be interested in. Look at big schools or small schools, liberal arts schools, research schools, those kind of things, those schools that are just around your backyard. For those of you now, since so many schools are shutting down, not only for spring break, but for COVID-19, what I suggest doing is to do virtual college tours. These are a great way for students to really get to know schools. So there are a number of different websites. I've listed 3 here that I really like. One of them is called youvisit.com. The other one is called campustours.com. And then there's ecampustours.com. These are virtual tours. When you first log on to any one of these websites, they're going to ask you for information. And when I say you throughout this process, I'm referring to your teen, okay? They're going to ask your teen for information about themselves. I highly suggest that your teen put down information about themselves, because what's going to happen now, since so many schools are going to online campus tours and online admissions events, they may start using this as a way to look at demonstrated interest. So they're going to, kind of keep track of what your teen is doing and what your teen is looking at. These tours, if you have not done a virtual college tour, I highly recommend them. They're really great, especially if you're living far away and you might be on the West Coast and your teen might be interested in a school here on the East Coast. Take a look at youvisit.com. It's great. They have some really good college tours there. It gives you a chance to kind of see student profiles, as well as see what the campus is like. If you also get a chance now to be able to talk to students, current students, if you know of any current students at a school that you're interested in, now's a great time also to reach out to them to get some ideas as to what campus life is like for them as well. Okay. Next, I'm going to talk about, this is a great time, especially if you are a junior and a sophomore, prepping for your SAT and ACT. Now is a really good time to do that. I highly recommend doing that now, especially if you're a sophomore and you haven't taken the test yet, or if you're a junior and you might have taken one of the tests, and now you're trying to figure out, what your next steps are. The spring and the summer is a good time to prep for that. So I highly recommend that you work with a professional advisor or work with someone to develop a test prep timeline, because you want to make sure that you're on par with what direction you're going in, depending on where your teen is in their academic profile for high school. So developing a test prep timeline, especially if you're a sophomore, this is a great time to really sit down and start thinking about prepping for your SAT and ACT, prepping for AP classes, AP exams as well, or subject tests as well if you're going to take those. So I highly recommend doing that at this time as well. So another thing that people ask me all the time, and that is what activities. So I always ask students what activities they're involved in. And inevitably, they always want to give me this long list of activities. Keep in mind that colleges are interested in depth, okay? They're interested in having students focus on one or two activities and really having the student focus on going in depth with those activities. So with that, I highly recommend that students focus on one or two activities that you're really interested in. So one thing that you can do if you're interested in, say, like one activity, say you're an artist, take art and center all of your activities around art, okay? Meaning, do something that maybe you tutor students in art, or maybe you do a showcase in your community related to your art. The whole idea is to go take a deep dive. Colleges, when they're forming a class, they're looking for experts. So your team needs to show that they're an expert in an area, one or two activities that they are an expert in. That's what they should focus on. And that's what they could focus on this summer. The other thing, as they're focusing on developing their activities, they could start working on making sure that they develop a list of activities. And this will be great for not only to be able to hand out to their teachers when it's time to seek recommendations, but it's also good so when they're ready to prep or put together their college applications, they'll have a list of activities. And they should focus on their activities since 9th grade, okay? So working with a professional advisor to sit down and develop a list of activities that they've done is a really good thing to do this summer as well. So here's another activity that I highly, highly recommend that students do, and that is read. And by that, I mean just taking the time to read. It doesn't have to necessarily be a book or something that is related to academics. It could be something that's related to something that they're really interested in, an activity that you do, or something that they've always just wanted to explore. Now is a really good time to read, to take some time to read. And when you're reading, when your teen is reading, they should practice active reading. And this is great on two levels. One, if you practice active reading, it'll help you with your SAT or ACT test coming up. And also, it's going to prepare you for college, because when you get to college, you're going to do a lot of reading, and you're going to have to be able to do a lot of active reading. So taking the time now this spring and the summer to read is just a great activity to do. So take the time to do some reading as well. Okay. The next thing that I think, and it's also related to reading, and that is writing your personal essay. Summer is great. It's great during the summer to start to prep for writing your personal essay. Those of you who are juniors, you will find out that come this fall, you're going to have a lot of essays to write, and it's really good to start prepping for that this spring and then the summer as well for your college essays. I highly recommend if you need assistance in terms of assessing your writing skills, we do that. We can assess where a student is in their writing and then assist them with writing their college essays. So now is a great time to do that. Just keep calm and write your college essays starting this spring and in the summer as well to get them out the way. So I focused on visiting colleges, prepping for SATs, one or two activities, reading, and writing your personal college essay. And those were pretty much kind of an academic focus. I want to shift a little bit and talk a little bit about life skills, okay? So now, this spring, as well as in the summer, is a great time for students to really start focusing on life skills. when students get to college, they will discover that a large portion of their time will be spent outside of the classroom. And because it's spent outside of the classroom, there are certain life skills that all students should have. And what do I mean by that? Things such as sophomores and juniors at this point, they really should be waking themselves up in the morning. You know, that's a life skill, being able to do that. Simple things like doing their laundry, being able to cook a simple meal for themselves, washing dishes, being able to order groceries, you know, through an app. Those kind of things. Those are life skills. And now this summer is great for them to really get in the practice of doing that because they're at home and we as parents can give them that support that they need to help them so that we make sure that they can do that on their own when they go to college. So it's really important, I think, for them to practice life skills. It's never too early to learn these life skills. Another thing that's related to life is to get a summer job. And by that, I mean getting a job or also doing volunteer work, doing some type of volunteer activity, maybe an activity that something they're interested in exploring. They could go and volunteer. Summer is a great way for them to do that. Summer is a great time for them to do that. And you learn so many great skills when you have a job, right? I mean, we all know that. Not only do you get a chance to earn money when you have a job, but you also learn how to interact with people. You learn, it helps you build confidence. It helps you interact with people who may come from a different background or different lifestyle. So this is a great time. Having a job will really help them in the long run. And the job could be related to something that they're interested in pursuing, or it could be in something that they just enjoy doing. For example, if you're a student who would like to major in engineering, but you find that you really like animals, volunteer or find a job in an animal shelter. You know, those are kind of things are really great too for, you know, showing that you as a student have that breadth or that depth and that you're doing something very interesting as well and something that you enjoy doing as well. Okay. So those are the things that I think you could do. These are the 7 things that you should do this summer. So to recap, and most of these things that I talked about were related to on the academic side. So to recap, visit colleges, do virtual college tours. I mentioned 3 websites that I would start off on. A number of colleges already have their tours set up. Just go online, take a look at their virtual tours because they're really great. Prep for SAT and your ACT and work on a timeline with a professional if you have not already done so. Focus on 1 or 2 activities. And like I said, take that deep dive into that activity. Read, do active reading. That'll help you with your SAT and your ACT. And it's going to go a long way to help you when you go to college because you're going to be reading a lot. And of course, start writing that personal essay. Work with someone to assess your writing skills and also to start writing your essays. And then on the non-academic side, practice those life skills. Work with your teen in terms of, you know, helping them learn how to cook a simple meal, doing their laundry, making sure they can get themselves up on time and by themselves, and also, you know, how to order groceries online. And find a job. You know, if that's an interest, go out, find a job, do some volunteer work. These are the kind of things that I think would really help a student stand out and really help them go a long way when it comes to their college applications. Okay. And with that, I will be happy to answer any questions that I have.
Excellent, Monica. That was a lot of information in a short time. And I love those slides, actually, very colorful and vivid. So before we take on questions, and I already see several in the Q&A window, let me quickly invite Karen Rao, who is the director of our Academy for 11th and 12th graders. Let me quickly introduce her, and then Karen can say hello, and then we will jump into questions. So just a quick introduction to Karen. In addition to being the director of our program for 11th and 12th grades, as I mentioned before, we have two other programs, one for 8th till 10th and one for transfers. Karen is a highly experienced college admissions counselor with almost 20 years experience in different high school settings, large public schools, private schools of all different kinds. And she's also an external reader of applications for the University of California at Davis, which means that she reads every year several thousand essays and applications for the University of California at Davis. With that, let me welcome Karen. Karen, do you want to quickly say hello, and then let's jump into Q&A?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Karen, and I'm excited to be on the call today. And I know Monica has put in a lot of really good ideas for you to spend the summer doing, and looking forward to seeing what the questions are.
All right, guys, so fire away. So,
all right, Karen, do you want to answer some questions, or do
sure,
you want me
you can take, I'll start with the first one, I guess. First question, I heard many universities are not considering SAT, ACTs anymore. What is the latest on this, specifically where is California on this? Well, it is definitely a changing theme. That is definitely something everyone needs to kind of keep their eyes on. There is a website that is a great one to look at when thinking about, is a college what they call is test optional, which means that they do not consider the SAT or ACT in their selection process for admissions, and that's called fairtest.org, F-A-I-R-T-E-S-T, Fairtest. I believe there's over 1,000 colleges that are on there now that do not, right, Monica?
Yes.
The list is ever growing. Currently, the UC system, the University of California, and the CSU system is still using SATs and ACTs, but you can stay tuned to see any changes with that, I would say by May or June of this year. Mm-hmm. But that would probably be my best advice, is to kind of keep up to date on the latest. And the college counselors with UCEZ are always inundated with a lot of this information as well.
Yeah. So another question that we have is, if we do a virtual college tour, will the college get the information that we have shown interest? Yes, they will. So that's why if you, for example, go on uvisit.com, the first question they're going to ask is who, and they're going to ask information like who you are. So I always suggest, your student filling out that information, and they keep track of this. They use big data now. So they keep track of where you're going on the website as you're visiting, how many times, you open email and that kind of thing. So yes, they will get that information. And I highly recommend that you fill out the information, your student fill it out, because they're going to send up a follow-up email to your student about the school as well, to give them additional information.
Great. I'll take another one. Maybe we just alternate as we go. What are your thoughts on taking a summer course with their specialization? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I just moved. Do you have,
sorry.
Sorry, I was like, wait, the list. What are your thoughts on taking a summer course in the field that you're interested in? Great question. I would definitely say that's something to consider. I think there's a couple reasons to do that. One being, it could be something that you're super interested in and might be something that a student wants to pursue as a college major. The other reason is kind of the opposite thinking. It could be something they think they're really interested in, and then they kind of pursue it and realize that they're not that interested in it, which is better to find out while you're still in high school than selecting a college based on a major that you're not particularly interested in. It is important to note that if you did take a course at a college over the summer, that does not guarantee admissions into that college. It doesn't give you a leg up. It doesn't allow your student to have an edge, so to speak, because there is a fee associated with taking a summer course, and it's not just an opportunity that's afforded to students to get exposure to a particular course, but not necessarily to gain admissions.
Okay. So I'll answer the next one. I'm going to try to go in order so I won't move the order. So how useful will it be to retake the SAT, especially if the first time score is in the low 1500s? I think you have to keep in mind that schools are looking at students holistically. Okay. So they're not just looking at SAT scores. They're looking at GPA. They're looking at activities. They're looking at the profile of the school that they come from, etc. So I think that you should balance the need to continue to take the SAT with having your student work on other things. I really think that that should be a conversation that you have with your student and with someone in terms of, is it best to do that, you know, because schools are looking at students holistically and not just focusing on one particular score.
All right, the next one. Do you strongly recommend doing a job based on interest, or can I work at a restaurant/food place? I love this question. I would love for students to get jobs. I think either experience is valuable. I think getting a job at a restaurant or food makes you realize a lot of things. It obviously makes you appreciate your education and the path that you're likely on. It also helps you deal with customers, which is often quite challenging. There's nothing wrong with getting a job at a coffee shop or a restaurant or a grocery store. I think those kind of things build character. They show leadership, they show accountability, and those things are all important when applying to college. Obviously, getting a job in an interest area could be a little challenging because the student is usually 18 years or younger. So if you're thinking about pursuing a job in the engineering world, there probably aren't many things out there for a 17, 18-year-old to do as a job per se. So definitely don't discredit those opportunities that are just in your community.
Okay. Let's see. So we talked about jobs. Oh, here's one, because I talked about activities. Okay. Do school clubs count as activities that you can talk about in a college application? Sure, they do. When I was speaking to activities, I meant activities that you do in school, or you might have activities that you do outside of school. So definitely clubs that you're involved in will count as activities that you can list on your college application.
All right, I'm going to take the next one. I do lots of speech and debate in my academic year. I coach debate once a week at my local middle school. Should I continue doing this over the summer, even though it may not be related to my future career? That's a really good question. I think it's awesome that a student can show a couple of things based on this example, that they're reaching out and influencing the lives of these middle school students in a topic that they're super strong in, which is speech and debate. I think over time is a great thing to show as far as an activity goes. The colleges really want to see continuation of an activity rather than just sampling a ton of different things as the students get older into junior year, especially into senior year. So I think continuing to do that activity would be a great idea. Of course, I don't know what the other options are that are out there. There could be this, you know, life-changing event that's happening that you might want to do, but having that in your back pocket, I think is a win-win, the speech and debate program for sure.
Okay. Oh, there's a question. Will taking a class in community college, is it considered good? And will it help in bumping up a GPA? Some schools have, I know some high schools do what they call dual enrollment, and students can take classes in community colleges. I think it's a great idea, especially if you're interested in this particular subject, to take a course in community college, because it just shows that you can do college level work. And it will help just show college that you can actually do that kind of work. So I always think it's a good idea to take a class on a community college, definitely, especially in something that you're really interested in, okay?
Let's see. Are summer research programs such as Cosmos helpful for college admissions? Good question. We get this one a lot at UCEZ. So the Cosmos program is a very strong program over the summer that students can apply for. At the same time, it is also something that is very common, so to speak, when looking at applications, especially for the UC system, for the University of California applications. It's something I see probably hundreds of times on an application. That being said, it is a good activity to do, but if a student did not get into the Cosmos program, it does not necessarily mean they're not going to have a successful list of colleges that they get accepted into. So yes, it is beneficial. There are different clusters, they call them, that a student can apply to learn more about a particular topic at a variety of the different UC campuses. It does show well on an application as far as having an experience on a college campus and learning something, but it is, again, it is not the only factor in determining a kid getting into a college. And if a kid did not have the Cosmos program, they could still get in to any of those universities.
Here's a question. It's talking about GPAs. How important are my 11th and 12th grade GPAs? Okay. Your 11th and 12th grade GPAs are really important. They really are. Schools really like it when students show improvement. So 11th and 12th grade is that time to show, hey, that you really have a handle on what's happening in high school, and having that GPA that's a strong GPA would really be good for schools, because they really like to see that upward trend when it comes to grade point averages.
I'm going to tackle this one because it kind of hits on one of the slides that you had. What differentiates a good essay versus a bad essay on a college application? And the reason I'm going to do that is because we actually have this great program that I really think, especially now that a lot of students are sitting idle without being in school, doing virtual learning with the times that we're in, to get a taste to see how well their essay writing is. I'm not going to give away all of the good and bad secrets of essay writing, but I will say that there will be some very common mistakes that are made with students, thinking that it is an English essay versus a college essay, which is quite different. So anyways, I just want to put a plug in for that. The student that's interested in learning more about essay writing, definitely take advantage of what we have to offer for that.
All right, I'm going to take this next one just because it's personal. It's from someone who's saying, I'm currently doing marching band and plan to do it all 4 years, but I'm going to pursue computer science. Is this a good option? I was a marching band nerd when I was in high school, so I want to tell you that is a great option. Continue to do what you love doing, and that is a marching band. Okay, I mean, that's what you love doing. It shows commitment. It shows, your passion for something. Definitely continue to do that. And you can pursue computer science. There are a lot of students that I've worked with who were in band and have gone on to do computer science at schools. So absolutely, that's an excellent option for you.
You didn't tell us what instrument you played.
Oh, I played saxophone.
Ah.
And I was also drum major of the band way back then.
Interesting. Had to know that. I tried saxophone and I think I lasted like a week. So kudos to you. My child is really passionate about chess. How much value of an activity like chess is there for STEM for college admissions? So there is not one activity that is going to show better per se on an application. And the whole point of listing all these things on an application is to show passion. So if your student's passion is on chess, I would say that is awesome, and they should continue to play chess. It's obviously an activity that isn't probably as popular as a lot of the other gaming type things that are out there for students. So I would say if your student is interested in chess, maybe they can teach me how to play chess. I don't know how to play chess. I don't know if you know how to play, Monica. I would definitely have the student continue doing it for sure.
Yes. All right.
All right.
Yes, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, Monica. I didn't.
No, I was just going to say we're going to take a break from the questions.
Okay, great. So Monica and Karen would be around, but I wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you about, for those of you that are feeling overwhelmed with this college admissions thing, and feeling overly stressed, let me briefly talk about how UC Easy can help. And after that, we're going to bring in Dr. Randall and Karen for a few more questions. We'll try to wrap latest by 1:05 Pacific. That'll be 4:05 Eastern. And for those of you that may need to leave early, there will be a feedback poll on your screen. If you could please take literally 30 seconds and fill that feedback poll before you leave. Now is not a good time because maybe 10 to 15 minutes at least into this. All right. So with that, let me bring up my slide deck. So for the immigrant families that our mission is to support through this college admissions process, the first and foremost question in your mind would be, hey, UC Easy, what do you do for us meaning the family? And the short answer is that, and this is from my own personal journey as somebody that was born outside the United States, went to great colleges back in India where I came from, but I struggled with college admissions for my own children, my own 2 children. There are lots of comparative disadvantages that immigrant families have to face, and UC Easy can help you counter or mitigate some of these. What are some of these competitive disadvantages? The first is that 90% of students in this country go to public high schools, where the average student to counselor ratio nationally is about 475 to 1. And as Karen and Monica would share with you, given their experience, that ratio can be a lot worse. And now when you compare this to the help that's provided at expensive private high schools, at an average, a public high school student has a 10 times disadvantage as compared to a student that's enrolled at a high-end private high school. What do I mean by that? I'm talking about schools that would charge, high schools that would charge tuition of, say, $50,000 a year. The second is that if you are a parent like I was, that is not familiar with the high school and college admission systems in the US, how do you think that your student, your child, faces a disadvantage because other families, say Monica's, can they guide their children better than you and I can? And the last thing here is that there are extremely expensive private college admission counselors, extremely expensive. One of them actually was featured in a CNN documentary recently about college admission scandal. And this company charges, get ready for this, $500,000. $500,000 per student for grade 11 and 12. That is the nature of competition. So what can UC Easy do? We can level the playing field for you and also perhaps give your child a competitive advantage while dealing with all of these difficult situations. So what do? We have a team of 50 experts that I talked about early on, and we are an online academy. Think of us as a school where we've got, as I said before, we've got an academy for grade 8 till 10, an academy for grade 11 to 12. The team lead for that is Karen Rao, who is with us today, and a transfers academy. If you enroll in our program, you would have a counselor or an expert like Dr. Randall or someone on Karen's team working with you in a highly personalized manner for one-on-one guidance, and we meet you over video conference using exactly this tool. The difference is that right now we cannot see or hear you, but in a video conference we can see or hear you. And our team of experts is highly experienced, they're handpicked, and currently we are supporting 600 students in the program with a goal of going up to 3,000 students over 2 years. And we have great reviews. We will send you a link to our review site in a follow-up email, but simply go to Google and look for UC Easy reviews. That's UC Easy, one word. I talked about how UC Easy can give you, your student, an advantage over competition. So take a look at this data. Public high schools across United States, the student to counselor ratio at the school is 476 to 1. Now, this is not a fair representation of the help that your student gets, because this is the overall ratio of student to counselors. In reality, a school counselor possibly spends less than 25% of her time on college admissions. So this ratio is close to 2,000 to 1. High-end private high schools, that ratio is 50 to 1. UC Easy, that ratio will never exceed 20 to 1. At an average, it is 12 to 15. So think about the advantage that you're getting. And shortly, I'll talk about our fee structure, and you will see that is highly reasonable, highly affordable for most families. This, again, is just a quick view of some of the people on our team. You can see Dr. Randall here, and Karen should be somewhere here on the screen. So the main thing here is that from a college admissions perspective, our team has an average experience of 15 years, minimum of a master's degree from the United States, and we work as a team. And a big part, say, of Karen's role is to make sure that she develops a team culture, and her counselors, they help each other. Why? Because there are almost 3,000 colleges in the United States, and no single counselor, even someone as experienced as Dr. Randall, would know everything about every college. So it's very important for us to, when you work with us, you might be working with Dr. Randall, but behind that, you have the full team supporting her. And for those of you that care about the UCs, 25% of our team members are external readers to the UCs, including Karen. So again, for the high schoolers, we've got 2 academies, 8th till 10th, where we work with the parents and the student to help develop a unique student, what we call a multidimensional student. We really are not talking too much about college in this early grades. What we're talking about is the all-round development of the student. And in 11th and 12th grade, Karen's team would help you through the actual application process in grade 12th. And in grade 11th, for the remaining 5 or 6 months that you have before senior year starts, Karen's team will work with you for doing the right things so that you become even more competitive for college admissions. This includes our essay writing services. So we have, because college essays are so important, especially for top colleges, we actually have a unique program where in grade 8 till 11, we actually teach the students how to write a college essay. In grade 12, we review your essays, but in grade 8 till 11, we actually teach you how to write an essay. And for current juniors, there's a great opportunity that in the upcoming summer, we will do a 7 to 8 week rigorous essay boot camp. So before you go into 12th grade, you actually would be reasonably well trained on writing essays. Now, Karen was also talking about a service that we are offering for 10th and 11th graders, where if you're unsure how your college essay writing skills are, we can actually conduct an assessment where you submit an essay and one of our experts would actually review it and help you understand where you stand with respect to college essays. Just an example of the activities that we covered for grade 10th, because there are so many sophomores on this webinar today. Coursework selection for 11th grade, if your school is still taking that, summer planning, extracurricular strategy, career and interest assessment. This is really important because a lot of students still don't know what they want to do after college, and this determines what they want to study in college, and then this determines what activities and courses they take in high school, and testing strategy. In 11th and 12th grade, again, we help you with every single aspect of the college application process, including college list, majors, reviewing essays, financial aid, et cetera, et cetera. The whole list you can see on our website. Just a very quick view of our program fee. I'm not going to talk in detail about all of this today. You can schedule a completely free meeting with us to learn more. But what we are trying to do here is offer families different ways to enroll with us. You can either pay us one time, or you can pay us a monthly installment. So for example, if you are a 9th grader, you can pay us, depending upon the package that you sign up for, you can pay us, say, $299 a month. This fee will not change through the course of the program, and we will give you all the college admissions related help throughout the high school. So as parents, you really don't have to worry about college admissions in terms of you browsing internet sites and attending hundreds of seminars. People like Karen and Monica will take care of that. We have 2 different kinds of packages. This is when we give you college admissions counseling. This package is for families that really, really care for the Ivy League type colleges. And again, we'll give you more details if you schedule a free meeting with us. For some families that might say, I'm not willing or ready to sign a long-term commitment with you, or I don't have the budget to sign up for any of these packages, then you can simply invest in 10 hours of our counselor's time for $1,690, typically in grade 8, 9, and 10, that will give you guidance for 1 year. For current juniors, we have different options. There are different packages that we offer, and you can do a block of hours if you don't want to do packages. So our silver package provides comprehensive guidance for your in-state colleges. Say for New Jersey, that'll be Rutgers, and a few others. For California, it'll be the UCs, California State Universities, plus 5 other colleges anywhere in the United States. The Gold program is your in-state colleges plus a total of 10 other colleges in the United States. And this is for families that aspire to, that are open to the student going outside their state and would want to enroll in private colleges. The Platinum program is only for students that really, really aspire to the Ivy League type colleges, say a Harvard or a Stanford. And again, we are offering different ways for you to engage: a one-time fee, say for silver, that's $4,990, or a monthly fee, depending upon whatever is easy for your cash flow. How do you work with us? Simply go to our website, UCEAZY, and you can request a free consultation. This will be done over video conference at no obligation to you. And after that, you can choose any of the options that I just discussed. Or in some cases, if you say, I'm not sure whether counseling is for me, college admissions counseling, just invest in 1 hour of our counselor's time. That is at an average $200, and see whether that works for you. And if it does, and you upgrade to a long-term program within 2 weeks, we will simply roll over your 1 hour investment into a long-term program. For those of you that are open or feel ready to sign up today, there is a 5% discount available. Just a couple more slides, and then we'll bring Dr. Randall and Karen back for a few more questions. Being an immigrant myself, as a parent, I went through this journey of helping my own children through high school and college admissions. It's a very complex journey. I would strongly urge you to get some professional guidance. My strong advice to you would be that even though as a parent you might feel, I'm really good at research, I'm really smart, I can do this. I was the same way. Do it yourself, I think, is a dangerous strategy, because in most cases, it'll convert your student into a guinea pig for you to experiment as you learn about US college admissions, while you have so much of competitive pressure that I shared early on. So my sincere recommendation to you would be get some professional help in terms of guiding your student with making the right decisions. and through the college application process. It doesn't have to be with UC Easy, and I really mean that. But try not to do it yourself. That is a risky strategy. So if you consider UC Easy versus others, what is our difference? We are the only company in the entire country with this kind of a focus, laser focus on students with parents born outside United States. Number two, most of the college admissions counseling companies, they are still stuck in what we call an outdated model of what is called college admissions counseling. Typically, it'll be one person working with you. What we believe is that for students from our kind of families, the need is much bigger, which is why we've come up with this online academy where we have college admission counselors like Dr. Randall, like Karen, but we have also lots of other experts teaching you how to write college essays, specialists in activities, specialists in career exploration, specialists in teaching you study skills and organizations, et cetera, because we believe that the current college admissions counseling industry is essentially designed to help you with the college application process in 12th grade. But we believe that developing that competitive student that will be able to compete in the college application process in 12th grade, that development happens in 8th till 11th grade, and that need requires a team of experts and not just college admissions counselors. So again, we have college admission counselors. You met two of them today, but the need, we believe, is much more, and that's why we've come up with this online school where we have brought all of these experts together under one virtual roof. We are a safe choice. 600 students, great reviews, and we've been featured in major media, including USA Today. That's the largest paper in the country. After the webinar, please continue to visit our website. We have great blogs there from the homepage, recordings of this webinar and previous webinars. And you will be signed up for our newsletter. We sent out one yesterday, which has excellent compilation of trends and news from college admissions. And lastly, before you leave, please take 30 seconds to fill the feedback form. With that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and would invite Dr. Randall and Karen to take a few more questions.
Thank you, Vinnie. I'll take this next question because one, I am a swim mom and my daughter is a competitive swimmer. And the question is, does being a varsity level swimmer for 4 years make a difference in college applications? And also doing a swimming lifeguard job during summer also help and show interest? Absolutely. I highly recommend, especially for competitive swimmers, to become a lifeguard, get that certification. It'll go a long way for not only showing your passion for swimming and your interest in helping potentially save someone else's life. I think it's a great idea, and I applaud you for continuing to swim and to think about becoming a lifeguard.
And I'll take another one. What types of summer internships, externship programs do you recommend for students interested in doing business as a major? I wanted to touch on this question because Vinnie actually hit on a service we actually have in UC-EZ. We have a career and activity specialist. If you were to go to the UC-EZ website, you'll be able to see her information there. Working with a UC-EZ counselor, a big part of our job is getting to know students and what their strengths are and what their interests are. And we have the opportunity to match those interests and particularly with business, with some activities in the local area wherever your student is located. So I just wanted to put a plug in for that because it is an opportunity for students to explore a particular major or particular interest area or possibly career field.
Okay, and I'll take this last one and one more question. Oh, I lost it. Hold on. Oh, okay, here it is. Do colleges look at freshman grades? Yes, they do. They do look at freshman grades. I think I mentioned before when someone asked about the 11th and 12th grades that colleges really like to see an upward trend in grades. So they will look at freshman grades, but they understand that that was the freshman year, first year in high school, you're trying to get used to the workload, etc. So yes, they'll look at freshman grades, they'll look at sophomore, junior, and senior, but they really want to see an upward trend there.
Karen and Monica, so just a quick clarification because we have a lot of people from California. Do UCs behave the same way in terms of how they look at freshman grades?
Do you want me to take that one, Monica?
Good. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess the question is, do they UCs look at 9th grade grades? The answer to that is no. The UC system only looks at, and that would be the University of California as well as the CSU, California State University system, looks at 10th and 11th grade grades, not 9th grade.
Yeah, so this just goes on to say the complexity of the college admission system in the United States. All right, let's take maybe one more and then call it a wrap.
Okay, I guess I'm up.
Yeah, you're up.
I'm up. Let's see, let me scroll through and try to find one that's a little different if possible. There's a couple questions here. I'm gonna lump them together that are talking about taking courses at a community college. I think I'm gonna kind of, one is it good to take a class at a community college for a quarter, even if it's offered at your school for a full year? And then another one is asking, can I take courses at a community college as a substitute for AP classes? So I guess I wanna just make a couple of statements real quick here about community college classes in general. It is good to show an interest in a particular course at a community college if you are able. There is nothing wrong with taking it at your high school, but sometimes I understand, and we all understand, that you're possibly not able to fit it in, or you wanted to get a little more accelerated in taking the course at a community college. The answer to the first question is it good to take a class for a quarter, even if it's offered at your school for a full year? I do throw a little caution out there. If it is offered for only a quarter, it could be a pretty condensed version of the class. So you would want to make sure that's a pretty strong subject area for a student, because we don't want to see a student taking a community college course, which you do have to report to colleges. You can't take a course and then not report it. You would never want to show a community college course as being a lower grade. So it's definitely a little bit more of a discussion rather than just a yes/no answer for that. But definitely using your time wisely to take something at a community college is a good idea. And I'll wrap it up with that.
Excellent. Karen, Dr. Randall, thank you so much for finding the time. There are still gazillions of questions on that list. This thing is complex, as I mentioned before, but hopefully for our listeners today, Dr. Randall and Karen, hopefully they gave you at least general answers to a lot of your tough questions. Keep in mind that in general, in the college admissions process, very few things are in general. They will require personalization. So a lot of the answers to a lot of your questions would be, it depends. Why? Because your student is different, because your student's aspirations are different, but mainly because when you think of the top colleges in the United States, increasingly they're looking for what is called holistic admissions, which is thinking beyond just grades and test scores. So if you think of the Ivy Leagues, the University of California, and similarly competitive public colleges across the country, they're becoming increasingly more and more holistic, and which just means that all of this college admissions stuff requires a different way of thinking. So for those of you that are feeling overwhelmed with this process, feel free to contact us. Again, as I said before, that our mission is to help you with this complex process and to reduce your stress with this. So with that, let me thank our guests, Karen and Dr. Randall. Appreciate your time very much.
Thank you.
And to all our listeners, thank you so much for joining. We hope to see you soon at another webinar or another forum like this. And in the meantime, please stay safe with this coronavirus thing, and we hope to see you soon. Okay, bye for now.